Wow. It is. First off, let me say that it is so good to have the Flash back on TV, and all in one night. This is going to be until we get another hiatus or whatever. But yeah, every Tuesday night, it looks like we're going to be getting the Flash, iZombie, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. all in one night. Dear Lord, Tuesdays are going to ruin me in terms of episode reviews. Oh Lord. So, yeah, let's talk about this episode. Starting with, let me talk about the things that annoyed me real quick, because I like to get the bad out of the way. And the Flash, the best thing about the Flash is that there isn't a lot of bad stuff that I have to go over. It's not like with Arrow, where I have a mountain of bad that I have to take like a snow shovel to get to the good stuff. In here, it's like a little trowel. I have to get to the good stuff. The reason why I talk about the bad stuff first is because it's better to get it out of the way now than clear the air up and then get to the really good stuff. Because seriously, in the Flash, the good outweighs the bad, unless you're going by episode 12 standards, crazy for you, which there's more bad than good. Anyway, so let's talk about the bad. The only really bad in here is the whole Iris and Barry thing is getting so blatant that they care for one another, and yeah, it's like getting nauseating, and Linda and Eddie feel like they're the odd man out, and that's not fair. As much as I don't care for Linda Park, I don't care. I mean, I care in terms of comic form, Linda Park, because from the Mark Waid run when she's with Wally, she's awesome. TV Linda Park, I don't care about. Comic book is a different story. So but on this side, I'm kind of siding with her and Eddie too. Even though I watched the sizzle reel the day before this premiered, and I kind of felt bad for Eddie in this episode because again, he kind of brings up, look, I'm your boyfriend. You moved in with me, and I really want you to be something more than that in the future. So the fact that you are so close with Barry, it makes me feel out of touch. It makes me feel like I'm the odd man out, and I shouldn't be like that. And I was like, yeah, you shouldn't, Eddie. Again, we all know the inevitable of Barry and Iris are going to get together, and it's kind of like the same thing with Laurel and Oliver. They're going to get together. Because it's Green Arrow and Black Canary. Same thing. It's Barry and Iris. It's the Flash and Iris West. We know this. So, yeah, I know it's supposed to be there for romantic tension, but on the other hand, I'm kind of siding with Eddie on this one. It was like, yeah, not liking that. Anyway, so where was I going with this? Where was I going? But having said that, that's the only real bad thing. So let's get into let's get into the rest of the episode. Let me move on now to the Weather Wizard himself, Mark Martin. First off, it's really good to see finally Mark Martin. I mean, yeah, we got his brother Clyde Martin, but that wasn't the real Weather Wizard. Now we have the real Weather Wizard show up, and he has powers, which I'm okay with. I know they were kind of going with the New 52 route with some of the Rogues Gallery, but when they introduced the Weather Wand, I was like, oh, okay. Which, by the way, the Weather Wand looks like a fusion of a lightsaber and the 10th Doctor's sonic screwdriver. No, really, it does. Go back and look at it again. It looks like a sonic screwdriver and a lightsaber put together. And I love the little joke that Barry had when he's swinging it around like a lightsaber, and he's like, yeah, I know what you did here, Cisco. So I kind of have a theory on what's going to happen with Martin, because I don't think they'll kill off Martin in here. I think they're going to keep him around and bring him into the Rogues Gallery along with Cold and the others. What I think's going to happen, and this is just a theory, is that somehow Martin is going to lose his powers, and the Weather Wand Cisco designed is that, Cisco created this thing to nullify Martin's powers. What I think's going to happen, but it can also control the weather as well. So what I think's going to happen is that somehow Martin is going to lose his powers, and then he's going to get a hold of the Weather Wand and then hook up with the Rogues. At least that's my little thought right now. I mean, it could easily change. That little theory could change, but yeah, it could change. But you never know. You never know. So let's talk about so I think it's also cool, by the way, getting more on with Weather Wizard, is that I think it's really cool. I think it's an interesting route that what he's doing is all in the name of his brother who was killed. And he even admits, yeah, my brother was no saint, but the fact that he was my little brother and I dedicated my life to trying to keep him out of harm's way and I failed miserably is why I'm doing this. So I really like that angle. I kind of like that angle because you kind of sympathize with what Mark is doing. Keyword kind of. Because he just goes all day after tomorrow at the end of the episode. Yeah. So, this episode also... Can I also say that this episode is very much... has a lot of oh my god moments, like, oh my god, that happened! Oh my god, this happened! Oh my god, that happened too! Like, I have to catch myself every time in this episode. I mean, yeah, I do that a lot in a lot of Flash episodes, but this one I was like, oh my god, you guys came back with a vengeance! So, let's talk about one of the big oh my god moments in here, being that, the police captain, I can't remember his name, is nearly killed by Martin when he actually lays siege to the police department to get at Joe. And this also shows the rest of the police force that, hey, the Flash is not the only superpowered being. We're now living among gods. So I can't wait to see how they're going to explore that even further within the show. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to be explained within the series in of itself, that now they know there are criminals out there that can, use these powers as well as the Flash has powers. So I'm wondering, I bet you down the line, I bet you that this is going to be how the creation of, how Iron Heights becomes the max security prison that it is now. We know in the comics, excuse me. So I think this is going to be the road to making, Iron Heights into a maximum security prison. But yeah. So, yeah, so also, again, getting back to the police captain, may I just say that I love this show when it, because again, it kind of did this with, it also did this with the Pied Piper as well, is that they mention that he's gay, but they don't draw attention to it like, oh boy, he's gay, he's different, check him out, we're so edgy. No, it's just a part of his character, and that's how they leave it, is that it's just part of his character and they move on. That's the same thing with the police captain, is that they do mention it, let me say this, they do mention it in our earlier episode during I think it's the Arrow crossover, when they do that, when they mention that he has a boyfriend, he just mentions it and moves on. In fact, I was like Shades at Night when they made that revelation. I had to be like, did he say boyfriend? Had to rewind. Huh, he did. Good for him. So yes, he's also apparently about to marry the man. So, and we also get to see said character in here when he's struck by lightning trying to save Joe. So I really like. So I thought that was a nice way to add to his character. And it's a very emotional scene because they even say, look, he is going to be messed up for the rest of his life. He got struck by lightning. It's a miracle that he survived, but he may never be able to walk again. He may not be able to move, he'll have limited mobility. He will be like this for the rest of his life. So his motor functions are going to be just severed. He's going to just live in agony for the rest of his life. And that was... he is a jerk to Barry, but, as the police captain's boyfriend, fiance, excuse me, says, look, he speaks very highly of you, but he's got such a big, he's just all bark and no bite. That's all he is. Anyway, so, really curious of how they're going to handle that from now on, and maybe, what I'm thinking is, wouldn't it be cool if, Joe was made the new police captain? I think that would be kind of awesome. But anyway, we that's the thing with also, let's talk about Joe real quick. Joe in here, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, he wasn't taking his own advice, he was, being irrational, he was being angry at everybody, he was just, ignoring all that advice, and to which which I'm glad the show realizes, hey, this character who's been all wise and shit is being, what he's talked against about, calls bullshit on when Barry says, look, this is something you would tell me to calm down about. This is something you would tell me to be like, let's just sit back and see what and be patient. To which he's like, look, I know this guy, and he has power to command the forces of nature, and he's targeting the last two people I have left in my life. So I have every right to be upset, and he also attacked my boss and has nearly killed him. So I can sympathize with Joe here on this one, because again, literally Iris and Barry are all he has left in the world at this point. That's all he has left are Barry and Iris. So I do kind of sympathize with how he's acting in this episode. Also, let me bring up this scene, because it was such a well-shot scene of when Barry and Joe are in the car and they're talking about, the relationship stuff, and you see the rain getting harder and pouring down on it, and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, this is Weather Wizard doing it. And then they switch on the broadcast, it's like, it's a sunny day, and they just have this look of sheer terror on their faces. So I really dug that. I really did dig how that went down, of how that scene played out, because you knew it was coming, but again, the actors just man, they have just such good reactions to it. So really dug that. Among other things, we also got, Barry reveals himself to be the Flash to Iris, which really wondering how that's going to play out, because now knowing in this typical fashion is that she's going to be first very pissed off that, Iris, Barry never told her, so I bet you that's how it's going to play out, is that she's just going to be angry with him. It's like, you never told me you were the Flash, and I write about the Flash, why didn't you tell me? To which I really hope he says, look, you might have spoiled it to everybody. Also, let's talk about that other the guy at the... I can't even remember his name, he's so boring. The character from... what the hell's his name? From the news. He in here is getting closer and closer, and he thinks he's figured out Dr. Wells has killed Simon Stagg, which, yeah, we know is true. What I'm betting is going to happen, and what's probably is going to happen, is that he's going to, especially how this episode plays out, is that what's probably going to happen is that he's going to dig a little too deep, and he's going to get, Reverse Flash is going to kill him. That's what I'm betting is going to happen, is that, Barry, he's going, Wells, or excuse me, no, wait, I want to get to that part when I get to it, because that is such a big moment. That is the biggest... Well, we kind of figured what was going on, but then it just still shocked me. But yeah, something tells me that guy ain't going to be around much longer, bottom line. So let's get into the other huge moment. Is when Cisco discovers Wells' secret. And yeah, when Wells even says, I never wanted this to happen to you because you were like a son to me. You made me realize what it's like to be a son. And yeah, it's a very big emotional moment. But you're still scared for Cisco. You're still very scared for Cisco and how how this is all going to go down. And then we get the revelation of who Dr. Wells really is. And he says, we haven't been properly introduced, and he says, my name is, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, he's Hunter Zolomon. He's the first Reverse Flash. He's Hunter Zolomon. And then he says, Eobard Thawne. And I went, oh my god. So, and they even say that Eddie is a distant relative of his, is a distant, ancestor of his. So, yeah. Again, I kind of made the assumption that Eobard Thawne was going to be in here, but I was so convinced, I wasn't suspecting that he was Eobard Thawne. I never thought of that for a second. I actually thought, again, Dr. Wells was really Hunter Zolomon, the first Reverse Flash. So that's who I thought it was going to be, and to reveal that Dr. Wells and, Thawne, I did have the thought that Eobard Thawne was going to be in here, and he was going, and Eddie was going to be like a distant relative for him. That's why he basically didn't kill him that night. So, the fact that this happened, and then he reveals that, yeah, Wells is really his relative, oh my god, that made my jaw drop. And then, we also get that he did kill Nora Allen, but what he was trying to do was kill Barry. Nora was just an unfortunate casualty, and then he reveals of why he's helping Barry, because he's stuck in this timeline. So now I'm curious, how was he stuck here? How was he stranded in this timeline? How exactly was he stranded in here in the past? What did Barry from the future leave him here? Was he running so fast or something? So, yeah, and he just reveals, he's a means to an end, because Barry's the only one that can, help me get back, the Flash is the only person in the world that can help me get back to my own timeline. And then he kills Cisco, after Cisco has this wimp moment of, I can help you. I was like, come on, Cisco, don't go out like a bitch. Then again, he's about to get killed by a guy who could literally run faster than a man known as the fastest man alive, so... Then again, I'd probably be pissing myself and trying to get out of this as well. But still, it leaves to interest because Cisco is alive in, the sizzle reel in the other episodes. So, I'm wondering, how exactly is this fixed? Again, I'm thinking it has something to do with the time travel stuff, because Barry does run into the past when he's trying to run so fast to create a windstorm to cancel out the giant tsunami coming at him from Martin. So, so I'm betting that Barry does alter the timeline to keep Cisco alive and a few other things, but, wondering how that's going to play out, because now he's in the past, so maybe he'll fix a few things, like manage to save the police captain and, a few other things from then on. So, curious to see how this is all going to go down. But this was a really great episode. So glad to see the flashback. Oh, this was such a great episode. It really was. Really excited to see the other upcoming episodes, especially the episode with Mark Hamill returning to his role as the Trickster. Yeah. Which, by the way, I watched the little clips of him as the Trickster. You can hear Hamill's Joker in his voice. You can just hear the Joker in his voice. So, yeah. I'm just so excited to see, him as the Trickster. But anyway, that's all I have to say about this episode. Really good. Again, the romantic stuff kind of got in the way, but not as much. Not as much as it does in Arrow. Again, excited to see where Arrow's going to go when it starts up again tomorrow. So, really excited to see how this is all going to go down. But you guys tell me, what did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. And I will see you guys later.